What I'd like to do this morning is to do a mayoral version of 2020. I believe I can cover about 20 big ticket items in alphabetical order in about 20 minutes or so. Following President Freeman's remarks, we should both have time for any questions. Our first slide, for those of you who can see it, AGN. You know, we've made considerable progress in our Annie Glidden North Revitalization Project. Better lighting, better crosswalks, a new safe streets ordinance, an exciting plan for Welsh Park redevelopment, and ongoing work on the establishment of a fresh food hub. We're putting the finishing touches on a community development corporation, devising ways that we can finance this revitalization. The AGN area can once again, in my opinion, be an area of our city that is vibrant, alive, and safe. It needs to be kept on our municipal radar screen. Buses. Some exciting news continues to evolve with DeKalb's public transit system. This past year, the Husky Lines merger with Transvac has enabled us to establish new routes to better serve our diverse population. Students, seniors, those with disabilities. Of course, you're probably aware of our expanded daily service to the metro station in Elbert, and beginning on April 28th, we'll be running more routes along Fairview Drive, hopefully putting more folks on buses and taking them to where they can find and obtain work at one of our major distribution facilities. Uncharted territory. That's where municipalities throughout Illinois find themselves in as recreational marijuana becomes legal on January 1, 2020. Our city council has made it pretty clear that given our location as a college town and the fact that this business presents an opportunity to add revenue, and the fact that we're postured to enter this marketplace. While we already have several potential applicants for a medical cannabis dispensary, it remains to be seen what the eventual outcome will be, because the number of initial licenses will in fact be dictated by the state of Illinois. Census. Counting our residents during a census may not seem to be important, but it's absolutely imperative that we do just that. While the actual counting process does not begin until March, the 2020 census has been on City Hall's radar screen since this past summer. We've inaugurated a complete count committee comprised of organizations that will help the city determine who needs to be counted, especially those who may be hard to contact, and a few who just don't see the value in it for them. I argue that the underserved community will actually benefit the most from an accurate census, since federal dollars that we receive, much of which serves the social service arena, depends on counting each and every DeKalb resident. Kudos here to NIU, which is spending significant resources to assure that a good student count is accomplished. City Hall. We've got all kinds of activity going on downtown, and now City Hall is preparing to join the party. Our municipal building, just a block east of here, has served this city well, but it recently has been showing its age. A chiller and boiler system that seemingly breaks down with more regularity, plumbing problems, not to mention considerable underutilized space. We simply don't have as many folks in that building as we did when the building was first occupied in 1968. We could have probably decided to continue with the inefficiency, but when the DeKalb Park District recently decided that the Naring building, aka the old First National Bank building, was not aligning with the district's overall mission, the city opted to purchase this building on the right for $1. In doing so, we've given the three tenants time to seek other space and we plan to begin City Hall's move to 2nd and Lincoln Highway sometime after the first of the year. Concurrent with that, we will put the municipal building, in actuality the entire city block, on the market. Stay tuned as we make this move downtown. A year ago, shortly after I appointed a new city clerk, I said, and these were my exact words, "This is going to work out very, very well." Well, folks, I was very, very wrong. Nobody is more disappointed than me. We've had months of discussion on the city seal, who can use it, where it's located, what the role of the clerk should be, appointed versus elected. Frankly, it's been a time-consuming distraction. Most residents I've talked to simply want those of us in government to get down to the business of effectively running this city. The clerk controversy was addressed by City Council action last night. This compromise should enable the candidates who run for that office in 2021 to have a clearer idea of what is expected. When we put U.S. Representative Adam Kinzinger on a bus and showed him around our fair city a few months ago, he remarked that our development downtown was very visible. And this becomes increasingly evident as new construction arises alongside older refurbished buildings. But you know, there's more than just downtown. We're working hard to attract new industry, manufacturing, commercial, retail. Our recent efforts have brought new visibility and vitality as we assist businesses like Aldi and Planet Fitness to take over space in former big box stores along Sycamore Road. Not to mention the earth-moving scenario now taking place in the Chicago West Industrial Park just south of the tollway. On this, I cannot say much this morning, but we're keeping our municipal fingers crossed that our work will result in an exciting transformational announcement. Quality of life. That's a term we use in describing what makes DeKalb a great place to live, work, and raise a family. We want to expand our recreational attractions like the Kishwaukee-Kiwanis multi-use pathway. You know, that trail runs under the Union Pacific and West Lincoln Highway, linking Prairie Park and the NIU Lagoon. You may have noticed how residents have responded to our Paint a Plug program, putting their colorful talents on our fire hydrants. We're continuing to engage the local arts community in devising a public arts initiative to make our city attractive to our residents and to visitors alike. Now we gotta have some fun, and our entertainment scene continues to grow in the city. Our grand old lady, the Egyptian Theater, is about to take on a new look. Alex, I don't know why you're smiling back there. It is taking on a new look. Granted, it's been a hectic construction season on North 2nd as the theater and Plaza DeKalb across the street are both abuzz with men and machines. As for the Egyptian, the new construction will include air conditioning, finally, enabling the theater to operate effectively year-round. And ladies, I'm told that there will be about 20+ toilet facilities instead of just 2. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, I can't wait to see the new Egyptian Theater. Hats off to Mike Embry and his collaboration with the Park District this year as they celebrated another successful Music at the Mansion. This year we presented Keys to the City to 2 DeKalb natives, actor Richard Jenkins and author Richard Powers. And kudos to the Corn Classic 5K, 10K committee that grew that race to nearly 700 participants this past month. I may add that despite the rain that day, all I heard from visitors were compliments on how the race was run, how many different parts of our community were featured, from our older historic neighborhood to Husky Stadium, trekking across the stadium. And speaking of the stadium, we'll be working with the IHSA once again in November when the state high school football championships are hosted right here in DeKalb. And if you've been following prep football lately, who knows, we may see DeKalb, or Sycamore, or GK, or Kingland, even Hiawatha as participants. It's been a heck of a year for high school football. I'm just going to take an aside, if I may, for 10 seconds to say that DeKalb High School has a sectional champion in our golf team, most of whom are here today. If you're a member of the DeKalb High School golf team, which won the sectional tournament yesterday, please stand up. Jack Pegwell over there, the individual champion yesterday at the sectional. Congratulations to the team and to you. Environment, part of the quality of life mentioned a few minutes ago is the quality of the air we breathe and the manner in which we appreciate the climate that we do enjoy. Our Environmental Commission, one of 14 boards and commissions made up of residents who volunteer their time and talents, has been very, very active. Over the past year, considerable discussion, some of which has resulted in revised ordinances, has taken place on such issues as native plants, smoking on patios, electric vehicles, backyard chickens, LED lights, and solar power. You know, the Kishwaukee Health System has served this community very well over the last 50 years. And now that Northwestern Medicine has hung its shingle, we're very fortunate to see a tremendous impact in the health care we have right here at home. The new Wellness Center on Bethany Road, it's really an architectural masterpiece, anchoring the northwest part of the Northwestern campus. Most recently, the breast health addition at the hospital includes the latest technological advances addressing this critical need. The DeKalb Sycamore community welcomes these new buildings, these new docks, and these new innovations in healthcare. What a domino effect the decreasing enrollment at NIU has had on this city in so many ways. At the center of all this has been an oversupply of once was student housing and a resulting backfilling of some of that housing with families looking for economical places to live. Unfortunately, we've also experienced a dramatic deterioration of some of our multifamily and apartment stock. While a majority of our landlords are offering quality, some simply do not. Hunter Properties now owns over 1,000, or about 1,000 units in town. One of its major holdings, 808 Bridgebrook, is still condemned today, months after a fire displaced nearly 150 residents and revealed a host of code violations. At other properties this company owns, over $100,000 in citations remain unpaid. The entire scenario is unacceptable. The city lacks sound, permanent leadership, management leadership, since early 2018. Our city council spent considerable time in searching for a new city manager, and have we found a good one. When Bill Nicholas assumed this post on January 1, he had a pretty fair idea of the challenges that lie ahead. Our city council made it quite clear to Nicholas that the first item of business was to get our financial house in order. Nicholas moved quickly and decisively in reducing our payroll, our municipal payroll. He's continued to make firm, bold decisions resulting in key reorganizational changes in City Hall. This man does not beat around the bush when he feels the action is necessary, even when it comes to disagreement with the mayor and with the council. He's exactly what we need at this very moment. Talk to virtually any mayor across the state and ask him or her what may be the largest obstacle in keeping their communities in sound financial shape, and I'd venture to say they'd reply pensions. What our municipalities have learned, many the hard way, is that government must align fiscal forecasts in a realistic way. So today, many, including the city of DeKalb, have discovered that municipalities have very little control over decisions that impact fire and police pension costs. You know, nearly every penny that your city of DeKalb now collects from property taxes goes to fund, you guessed it, pensions. And while we fully understand that the commitment we've made to our employees is something that we intend to keep, we need to find a solution to this snowballing problem. A key solution now lies in Springfield, where consensus on consolidating the hundreds of pension funds into a more efficient, cost-effective, and manageable number, perhaps 2, 3, perhaps a half dozen, this can reduce the burden on individual cities. We must continue to collaborate on this dilemma. As we arrived this morning, I hope we did so with the mindset that we were going to be safe today. There's no doubt that the landscape in our community is decidedly different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. In addition to economic development, public safety was the other component piece during the Smith mayoral campaign 3 years ago. Those two arenas, economic development and public safety, remain my primary focus today. And folks, I can stand here today and assure you that we have men and women comprising the DeKalb Police Department and the DeKalb Fire Department that we can all be very, very proud of. Whether it's a hardline stance on gang and drug activity, or on our Safe Streets parking program, or the rave alert system that often awakens us up in the middle of the night. The police are indeed serving and protecting. So goes it for the brave first responders in our fire department. They do it all, from emergency calls to fire rescues to collaborative programs with schools and hospitals. We simply cannot thank them enough. Social media. Corrupt, divisive, hashtag the worst mayor ever. Those are just 3 of the slings that a few folks have used in describing me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this mayor not only has a pretty thick skin, but I'm also very supportive of every citizen's right of expression. So regardless of the social media platform, it is what it is in our society today. Seemingly anyone can say just about anything about anybody on a host of social media problems or social media platforms. I only wish it could be more simple. But having said that, the city has found these social media sites to be complementary to our own communication activities. We're making nice advances to our website, to our new e-newsletter, and to our own Facebook page. I'd like to give a major shout out this morning to our major media players, the Daily Chronicle, the Northern Star, WLBK, WNIJ, and DeKalb County Online for their support of the city's effort to keep our residents informed. God, that hurts back there, that's how Streets. We've kicked this down the road too much over the years, and it's going to take some time to catch up. This year, our major improvement project was North First Street. It looks great. We'll see what our budget will allow in the future. We should be spending $5 million on streets. This past year, we've spent $1.7 million. Hats off to our public works crews for helping to maintain our streets as best they can. Thank you, Shannon. Much of their work is with pothole filling, patching, striping, just enough to keep things navigable. We will need to identify new revenue if we're to do better in 2020. We also continue to work with DeKalb County, DeKalb Township, and IDOT to engage them in seeing where intergovernmental agreements may be workable. Working together on infrastructure like streets is imperative now more than ever. TIF, tax increment financing, what it's all about. I must admit this has been one of the most difficult things for me to wrap my mind around. This past year we've been able to bring our partner taxing districts together to agree on what the city is doing and intends to do with our TIF districts. As you know, the spirit of cooperation has not always been the case, and last year's call for an audit of past TIF practices was put in place by the state's attorney's office. Now, final audit findings have yet to be released, but it appears that we'll discover that past record keeping since the late 90s has been pretty shoddy, not well monitored. We're pretty sure we have that rectified now. But what we can't lose sight of here, folks, is how effective our TIF programs have been in recent years. Look at Cornerstone, Plaza DeKalb, the Egyptian Theater, Barb City Manor, the significant facade and site improvements throughout the city. TIF, in my opinion, will prove and has proven to be a major economic driver in revitalizing our city. Take a walk down Locust Street someday. You'll see an excellent point of pride for our town. Now, I must admit that as a veteran myself, the banners that aligned that vicinity warm my heart. Working alongside fellow veteran Mike Emery and the American Legion, this project of banners started small, continues to grow. Public support of our emphasis on the red, white, and blue, bolstered by veterans-only parking in key locations downtown, makes us one of the most veteran-friendly cities around. We're very proud of those who have served, and we want to show them just how proud we are. I promised 20 big-ticket items when I began this review a few minutes ago. My last slide is extremely important to me. These folks comprise your council. And as I read these names, I'd like you to stand up. First Ward Alderman, Carolyn Morris. Second Ward Alderman, Bill Finucane. Third Ward Alderman, Tracy Smith. Scott McAdams from our 5th Ward. 6th Ward Alderman Mike Verbeek, who can't be with us. And Tony Faber. Tony, where are you standing? He serves our 7th Ward. Now you'll see back there behind the post, Pat Fagan. He's the one pictured up here in the middle. Pat, stand up. He recently resigned. He moved to another neighborhood. As a result, have a seat, guys. Have a seat. And know that as a result of Mr. Fagan's resignation, I'm currently interviewing 6 folks who have indicated an interest in filling out that 4th Ward term until the 2021 election. I hope to bring my appointment to the City Council in the next few weeks. You notice doing the right thing. I wholeheartedly feel that these aldermen who stood up are genuinely attempting to do just that, day after day, City Council meeting after City Council meeting. While we have our disagreements, I'm heartened by this group's willingness to discuss, to reach consensus on what is best for our citizens. We will continue to be responsive to those things that concern you, and will attempt to be transparent and open in how we deal with you and the public at large. Over the next several weeks, one of our major responsibilities will be to arrive at our FY 2020 budget. We know the process will not be easy, but with the assistance of our staff and Finance Advisory Committee, we'll arrive at an initial balanced draft that our public can then take a look at. Make no mistake about it, the City of DeKalb has major financial challenges. This council has been elected to take on those challenges. I firmly believe that we will work hard together to do the right thing. As I conclude my remarks this morning, perhaps you've gotten the idea that the city of DeKalb and Northern Illinois University are joined at the proverbial hip. In safety, in transportation, in the census, in housing, in entertainment, in offering more opportunities for our younger citizens, across the board. I've said it publicly many times since I've been your mayor, perhaps most recently at the Unity March on the NIU campus. In the 58 years that I've been a resident of this wonderful community, I don't believe the cooperation between the city and NIU has ever been better. And we pledge to keep it that way. I know that pledge is shared by our next presenter this morning. In turning the podium over to NIU President Lisa Freeman, I'd like to thank you for your attention. I'm so very honored to have been asked to provide this report to you, who, like me, care so very, very much about our community. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of Northern Illinois University, Lisa Freeman.
And thank you, Mayor Smith. It is always uplifting to hear positive news about DeKalb. I want to start out this morning by sharing some positive comments about our university that I heard last week from another highly respected leader, Dr. John Dunn. John Dunn retired in 2017 after serving for 10 years as the president of Western Michigan University and then agreed last year to serve as the interim chancellor of SIU Carbondale. John received bachelor's and master's degrees from NIU in the late 60s, and he's returned to DeKalb many times since then to attend MAC athletic events, higher ed conferences, and to visit his uncle, NIU Hall of Fame gymnastics coach, Judy Dunn. Last week, John was at NIU being honored by the College of Education, and I got to spend some time with him. Over dinner at Tavola Luna, John shared how impressed he is by the positive changes in DeKalb and at NIU, and how happy it makes him to see good things happening in these places that mean so much to him. I feel that way too. Good things are happening. DeKalb and NIU are moving forward into a bright future. The city is being transformed because our city leaders and members of our local business community are working together to implement a bold shared vision for DeKalb. And NIU is also benefiting from collaborative leadership, as well as from the development of long-term plans and implementation strategies. I appreciate the General Assembly's bipartisan efforts to help Illinois higher education thrive again. A fiscal year 20 state appropriation that represents a 5% increase over FY19, and a commitment to provide capital funding for reinvestment and new construction over the next several years. I want to thank Representative Jeff Kiker. I saw him here earlier. I think he's still with us. I want to thank Jeff for his efforts on behalf of the university and his recognition that funding public higher education is an investment in our future. I also want to recognize the faculty, staff, and students at NIU who worked together this past year to make our university stronger. We accomplished a lot. We crafted and adopted vision, mission, and value statements that speak to who we are and who we aspire to be, both as an institution and as proud Huskies. We introduced a strategic enrollment management plan that maps out a multi-year approach for achieving a sustainable enrollment of 17,000 to 18,000. It's our playbook, complete with specific assignments and investments at every position, and I'm happy to say that it's working. Thanks to a university-wide effort, new strategic partnerships, and innovative marketing efforts, we're seeing notable progress this year. The number of applications that we received for fall 2019 admission was up over the previous year by 10%, That's 1,675 additional applications. For admitted students who enrolled, we're up 2% in new freshmen, and this is the third year in a row that we've seen an increase in new freshmen. We were also up 2% in new transfer students, up 9% in graduate and law students, up 25% in new out-of-state students, and up 37% in online students. And the fact that we're seeing significantly increased attendance at our summer and fall open houses strongly suggests we're off to a good start recruiting next year, 2020's incoming class. With these achievements, we met or exceeded our strategic enrollment management plan's goals related to new student recruitment. And we're on the right track to meet our overarching objective of achieving and maintaining an enrollment of 17,000 to 18,000 students. I acknowledge that we have more work to do, and I anticipate more success ahead. NIU's strategic enrollment plan emphasizes not just increasing the recruitment of new students, but also increasing degree completion by our admitted students. Accordingly, we are looking at different ways to support students, more innovative ways to decrease their debt and their time to degree, more effective ways to keep talented students from our local community here for their undergraduate education and beyond. One key way we're doing this is recalibrating our scholarships and financial aid packages. Beginning next fall, any newly admitted freshman with a 3.5 GPA will automatically receive $3,000 a year. That's $12,000 over the course of 4 years. Based on our data analysis, this means several hundred students on average who were not previously eligible will now have access to a scholarship. We've also stepped up our outreach to local students. You may recall that last year we created scholarships specifically for DeKalb County High School graduates and Kish College transfers. Those will also continue this year. And to make sure our local students are aware of these programs, we're broadening our one-on-one outreach to local schools, expanding beyond the field trips that we do annually with DeKalb and Sycamore by adding more visits from Hiawatha, Rochelle, Kayland, and Rockford high schools. Some of you may have seen the publicity recently on the new 2 Degrees in 3 Years partnership that includes NIU, Kishwaukee College, and 6 area high schools. We have defined seamless pathways that flow through high school and Kish to lead to bachelor's degrees from NIU in one of our 5 high-demand program areas: business administration, computer science, elementary education, psychology, and mechanical engineering. The program allows students to earn both a Kish associate's degree and an NIU bachelor's degree within 3 years of high school completion, saving students and families both time and money. We value the close relationships with our local institutions. These are key resources that help students earn their bachelor's degree and help us retain local talent. I want to recognize the leadership of our partners, particularly Lori Borowitz, president of Kishwaukee College, and Jamie Craven, superintendent of DeKalb D428. The 3 of us will be speaking about our 2 Degrees in 3 Years collaboration to a national conference of community college trustees later this week. A vibrant future for DeKalb depends on our ability to attract and retain educated young adults who build their lives here. And there's another piece of this puzzle that we have to address together. We have to make DeKalb more appealing not only to prospective students, but also to large and medium-sized employers and to educated young adults seeking a place to live, raise their families, and start new businesses. Research tells us that today's students, faculty members, and working adults want communities that are pedestrian-friendly, with walkable, mixed-use neighborhoods that have stores, services, parks, convenient public transportation, and other amenities. They want multiple residential options, home ownership, as well as rental properties that are safe and affordable with accessible and responsive local management. We see downtown DeKalb moving this way, and we should be able to offer similar experiences to residents and prospective residents across our city, and we need to work together to this end. It's not just about attracting more students to NIU. We need to find ways to keep more NIU alumni here in DeKalb after graduation. Vibrant, economically sustainable college towns consistently reinvent themselves with infusions of new talent and energy from young professionals who choose to stay in their alma mater's host community. This is a part of our shared history that needs to be celebrated and strengthened. Look around you here and see all of the successful community leaders who came to this town via NIU and stayed over the years. This very place that we've gathered in this morning, Verandas, created by NIU alumni Bill and Joy McMahon, who also own the Lincoln Inn. Fargo State Park, one of only 2 public indoor skate parks in Illinois, attracting thousands of people from throughout the region, founded by Ariel Reese, a graduate of both Kishwaukee College and NIU. Byers Brewing Company recently opened in downtown DeKalb. This business is owned by NIU graduates Megan and Steve Byers, and it's located in a building owned by another NIU alumnus, Cohen Barnes, CEO of Sundog IT. What prompted these people I just mentioned to invest their lives into this community? And more importantly, how can we work together to help young graduates see DeKalb as a great place to establish themselves, personally and professionally? NIU is continually working with our community to improve the student experience and make DeKalb a more attractive place to learn, live, and work. Together, we are growing effective initiatives and testing new approaches. For example, we've expanded on our successes. Campus Meets Community just had a successful second year. This is the outdoor fair held on NIU's MLK Commons, where local businesses introduce themselves to NIU students, faculty, and staff. The number of exhibitors was up to 70 this year compared to 43 last year. The energy was incredible and the sense of community was strong. The latest Corn Classic Run attracted record numbers in September and included hundreds of NIU students and volunteers. The mayor's already mentioned how much that race has grown. I want to add that post-race surveys showed runners were particularly pleased with the route through campus, the enthusiasm of the crowd, and the NIU marching band. And as the mayor has already shared, good news keeps coming from the merger of our 2 bus systems. We're also working on new initiatives that we hope will produce successful outcomes and lasting positive impact. Tomorrow, NIU is hosting our most ambitious ever diverse supplier networking fair. This event is free and open to the public. Small businesses, especially those owned and operated by minorities, women, veterans, and persons with disabilities, are highly encouraged to register and attend. The fair offers networking opportunities with NIU departments and divisions and other Illinois public universities, as well as informational sessions about how to do business with us. Before it's even built, we're working on ways to integrate our new Northern Illinois Center for Community Sustainability into the life of the community. In preparation for more formal partnerships, we've invited the DeKalb Area Agricultural Heritage Association, or DAHA, to move into NIU space, and we've made provisions for the DeKalb County Community Gardens to use campus storage space for their growing operations. In addition, as I mentioned previously, we're working with the DeKalb County Economic Development Corporation to develop a coherent narrative about DeKalb's agricultural heritage and NIU's potential to drive innovation at the food, water, energy nexus. NIU is also collaborating with DCEDC to share data from our branding studies. DCEDC will be studying perceptions of our region, while NIU is focused on how the university and our proposed Northern Illinois Center for Community Sustainability are perceived by a wide range of audiences. When we look at our strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, it only makes sense to look at them together and to seek new opportunities to coordinate and to collaborate. We are talking to student government and local businesses about a new initiative we're calling the Communiversity Startup Challenge. The concept is that students explore local problems and work with area businesses and community leaders to come up with solutions. Solutions that include but are not limited to new business startups. The students will pitch their ideas to teams of experts, and winning teams will get startup funding and guidance from mentors. I want to note that our students are particularly interested in working on initiatives that will advance the Annie Liddon North Revitalization Plan. Another important initiative we're working on with the City of DeKalb involves the upcoming census. The mayor's already spoken to it, but I want to emphasize, it is important for us to get an accurate count. It means real dollars and real congressional representation for all of us. Everyone here can help count hard-to-count groups of people by telling the people that you interact with to make sure that they get counted. Finally, I want to invite you all to participate next year in some of the many activities that we are planning to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the founding of NIU. There are events being scheduled throughout the year, and we will release on a monthly basis summaries of 125 key moments in NIU history. You'll be reading more about the anniversary celebration soon. To close, I want to focus on one important aspect of our shared history. NIU is here in DeKalb because DeKalb citizens 125 years ago fought to get it located here. And I do mean they fought. They invested their own time, money, land, and personal influence to bring the new Teachers College here and thereby ensure the future growth and prosperity of their small but ambitious town. 125 years later, times have changed. DeKalb and the university have both changed and will evolve even more as time goes on. To move forward together to understand and capitalize on the opportunities that will define our shared future and ensure our continued prosperity. Thank you for your time and attention and for your commitment to our unending, lifelong partnership. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to open it up for questions. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand. I'll come find you here. For those of you that are younger than me, Bill Donahue used to walk around and hand the microphone off. For those that are older, I'm going to do my best Bill Donahue. So, questions?
Oh, come on. Question.
He was that thorough. All right, here.
Well, I guess it's related a little bit to the change that we're seeing now in the perception of retailing when it goes from the brick and mortar stores to the online shopping. Is that a similar situation that's happening when you mentioned 36 or 7% of the new students at NIU now are coming online versus a small 2 or whatever percent coming actually to a brick and mortar type institution? And maybe your comments about how that might play out in the next decade or so.
So our online students come in different flavors. Many of the students who are online in some capacity are actually also here, living in DeKalb and living in our residence halls. There are very few of the students who come to NIU who don't choose to take at least one class online to ensure more flexibility in their schedules. These are digital natives and they really enjoy that type of mix of hybrid education, fully online and non-online. But we are creating online programs, particularly at the graduate level and for bachelor's completion programs for working adults, where it is very likely none of those students will come to DeKalb in the course of their lifetimes unless we give them a reason to. So as we develop fully online programs to serve place-bound working adults at different stages of their careers, it's also going to be incumbent upon us to give them reason not only to think of being a Husky and sending their children here, but also coming to DeKalb. And this could be special online homecoming activities, it could be online commencement activities. There are things that other schools have tried, and I think we'll need to figure out what works in our context.